On today's Primetime Local News, Council approves funds for a new airport emergency generator in the border city.
The generator was procured, but now the next step is installing it.
And grade 4 students get a unique lesson in politics thanks to Mayor Albers.
Everything was so goodly put, and it's basically like a social class except with the mayor.
Plus, steps being taken to reduce the club root spread in canola across the prairies.
Prime Time Local News, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Good evening, I'm Judy Gabriel. City Hall announced Part 2 of the Airport Emergency Generator Project will now be moving forward. The contract was given to ATCO Electric, and while the price tag is slightly higher than planned, it remains a significant important development for the facility.
After realizing the airport had no backup in a power failure situation, City Council has worked to install an emergency option.
This is the second part to that project, of course, the first part of it being approved earlier in the year.
City Council, through the budgeting process, identified a standby or generator was required. So that went through the budgeting process. The generator was procured, but now the next step is installing it.
This new generator provides security for both residents and employees.
We've got a great carrier service now that's coming into Lloydminster, and if we ever want to expand that, that's one thing, but also to keep safe what we already have.
During this process, only one tender was provided, a bit of a surprise to Council.
They're going to do some investigation as to why there was only one bid. We have had other cases where we only have one bid, depending on the work, but we also have times when we have 5, 6, 8 contractors bid.
ATCO's contract of more than $80,000 also puts the project slightly over budget.
There's a little bit of contingency because of some of the challenges. We don't have all the information as to what's exactly going into the building that's going to be tied into.
However, based on comparisons to other communities, the math still checks out for the project, and work is expected to begin soon.
So that I think that's the reassuring side, that we're not paying more than we should, but I always like to see more than one bid. We have made that allowance, and we'll move forward. We'll get the generator hooked up, and the airport will be fully 24-hour backup for electrical needs for emergencies at any time.
Josh Ryan, Primetime Local News.
We uncover new information from Lac La Biche today. City Council suddenly passed a motion to terminate the employment of their Chief Administrative Officer, Shadia Omble. According to Mayor Omar Mograbi, the decision wasn't unanimous and came as a surprise to him. And when asked if it was a backdoor decision letting her go, this is what he had to say.
I can't prove that, and I'm not saying that, but it's something that I will investigate. I was quite surprised with the process that was used. I was not aware of that's the process people were moving at that time, and that's just the way it is. I like to do stuff in a very regimented and processed properly. Our next step is, we still have to kind of decide. We have to sit down with council because it was pretty late last night. Will be our process of how we move forward in hiring a new CAO. Meanwhile, we've moved up our assistant CAO to be intern for now, but there's a lot of work to be done. So we got to make sure we don't run our people into the ground. Honestly, she's put in a lot of time for the county and the municipality, so we thank her for her service for sure.
City Council appointed Dan Small as the interim acting CAO. All current county projects, programs, and services will continue to proceed as planned. As students begin to reach grade 11 and 12, it's time to start thinking about what comes next after high school. Earlier today, Holy Rosary High School held a university and college fair to help students get information that would make their decisions to where they're going a little bit easier. Our Jasmine King has more.
Students from grade 10 and up attended the University and College Fair, where they had schools ranging from Edmonton to Lethbridge. They also had booths from the military and RCMP for those who may not be sure if they want to go to school.
We had just about all the main universities and colleges in Alberta here today for a quick presentation, and they were here, and about 500 students were able to walk through in a short space of time to look at programs and opportunities for their future, grade 10, 11, and 12.
Being able to offer these types of informational days is important to the school as they want to get the ideas in students' minds.
Awareness of potential programs. I think this is something that there's a lot of negativity around right now about things like jobs and things like that. This is a chance for them to engage in that world and see what the future holds and to start making decisions on that.
As a lot of the bigger schools in Alberta are in Edmonton and Calgary, they want students to know that even if they're from Lloydminster, they can still be competitive at these schools.
It's important that people here in the Midwest have the same opportunities as people in the large cities. So we want to bring these people here to give our students and our parents an opportunity to say that there's a lot of programming and opportunity in Canada.
Even though some of the students won't be applying for a few more years, introducing them to these options is very important.
If you were in grade 10, this is a new thing. You're 15, you're 16 years old, and it's the introduction to the world outside of high school. For the grade 11s, it's an opportunity to realize that their marks in grade 11 count for university entrance and college entrance next year. And for the grade 12s, it might be a confirmation of some of the things they've done, or some future plans down the road for them.
Holy Rosary has also hosted a few bigger schools from Saskatchewan, but this day was solely for Alberta schools. Jasmine King, Primetime Local News.
Grade 4 students at Rendell Park School had a unique introduction to politics by having the mayor come by and answer a few questions. Politics can be a pretty difficult subject to learn as a young student, and the school's solution was to bring Mayor Albers and his expertise to those students. For the grade 4s, it was great to have some questions answered, but it may not launch any political careers just yet.
Train stations. That's a very good question.
It was super cool because I've seen it before, and we learned a whole bunch of new things about the government with a whole different perspective.
It's kind of hard to understand because we're just a little bit young for that.
For Mayor Albers, he was impressed with the knowledge the grade 4 students showed when they shared their own concerns about the city.
I believe teachers are paid by the month. For a grade 4 student to raise a crosswalk issue with me, that sets a tone that I need to refocus maybe a little bit those questions and spend a little more time in the schools, because they're thinking about safety, they're thinking about the community, and those are very important parts of our community.
And all the grade 4 students were grateful for the mayor explaining what his job entails. And now we go live to the Harvest Festival, where our Eric Bay is on location. Eric?
Thanks. Well, today we are out here at the Lloyd X and we are checking out this year's Harvest Festival, and now I'm joined by Caitlin Dukeshire. And so first off, can you talk a little bit about all the work that did go into putting this on this year?
Absolutely. First of all, this is our 10th year. This event has been going on for 10 years, and it could not happen without our sponsors. The County of Vermilion River has been on for all 10 years with us, and we're very thankful for that. Red Bicycle, Molson, and of course the Lloyd X are our major sponsors, and like you said, without them this event is not possible. We really start in the spring when we talk to all the producers about what we could potentially use in making our menu, and then it goes from there. So it's something that starts before the produce is even seeded.
And obviously you mentioned there's a ton of work, so just talk a little bit too about all the work that goes on from not just community members, but also the staff here as well, the kitchen staff, to put on something like this.
Absolutely. So this menu is completely different. This menu really is a challenge for our kitchen staff in that it's not there every day. So they come up and they show up and they do an absolutely amazing job, and they really get creative. So it's one of those events where they really get to shine.
And now you also talked about too, this is your guys' 10th year, and we were talking a little bit too about how there's been a few changes over the years as well. So can you talk again about how this event has kind of evolved over those years?
Absolutely. This event has evolved in expanding the produce and what we offer, including last year offering that Molson craft beer tasting. So each menu item is professionally paired with a craft beer. This year we've got Trestle Coffee Company here, so those are available to purchase, as well as 2 distilleries, stuff that we haven't had in past. And again, really excited about live entertainment sponsored by Young Egg Services.
All right, thank you for this and enjoy tonight.
Thank you so much, guys. Enjoy.
All right, we're going to have some more from back here again at the Lloyd X, checking out the Harvest Festival. But before that, we're going to head back into the studio.
Taking a look at our current temperatures, it is -6 here in Lloydminster. It was a fairly clear and sunny day. However, the wind speed really did make it feel a lot cooler, but thankfully we didn't see any snow. But we are sitting at mostly cloudy skies as it's progressed throughout the day, and 16-kilometer-per-hour wind coming in from the south, so it feels like it's around -12 degrees. Across the region, -4 in Cold Lake and Rocky Mountain House, 1 degree in Edmonton and Jasper, -2 in Red Deer, -3 in Athabasca, 0 in Edson, and -1 out in Whitecourt. And on the Saskatchewan side, -9 in North Battleford, Saskatoon, Prince Albert, -11 in Melfort, and -6 in Meadow Lake. In North Battleford, overnight will be -7 with mostly cloudy skies, and the wind will die down to 7 kilometers per hour coming in from the southwest. And then tomorrow, daytime high of 3 degrees with mostly cloudy skies, and the wind will remain at 7 but coming in from the west. In Cold Lake, overnight -6 with mostly cloudy skies, and the wind will be 6 kilometers per hour coming in from the west-southwest. And then tomorrow, a high of +1, but there's a chance that they could see some snow with the wind picking up to 13 kilometers per hour coming in from the west-northwest. Here in Lloydminster, -5 overnight, and the wind will die down just a little bit to 11 kilometers per hour coming in from the west. And then tomorrow, it'll be +3 with the wind speeds picking up to 13 kilometers per hour coming in from the west-northwest. And there is a chance of snow throughout the day, and that chance is 56% that we could see some flurries throughout the day and even possibly overnight, with a low of -5. Saturday, as I said yesterday, there was a high chance that it was going to be snowing. It's now dropped to 25%, so there is no real chance that we could see some snow, but there is always that possibility, with a high of -7 and a low of -8. And then Sunday, it cools back up to -13 is the high and -18 as the low, with no real chance of snow. That wraps up your 3-day forecast. We'll have more news coming up after the break.
Welcome back. With the economic downturn of the oil industry, Foremost is trying to stay ahead of the curve by diversifying, and it's now providing agricultural supplies. Eric Bay has more in this week's BioClean Business Bio.
Foremost Lloydminster location is the beginning of the company's transition, creating grain bins, which allows the company to offset a slow oil sector.
So, like I said to everybody today, it's going to fill unused capacity for us. It was left idle from the downturn in the oil industry. The ag industry is typically not on the same cycle as the oil industry, so it's going to really level out the production at our facility here.
Diversifying also allows Foremost to grow while faced with this economic downturn and continue to keep their workers employed.
Fits well. The guys are trained. We've got very highly skilled welders here that are able to take and work on whatever kind of product line we have coming through here. The neat thing about it is it keeps the employees busy and engaged and full right now, even though the market has been a little bit softer. By having diversity, it creates strength and keeps employment going, and allows us to be able to grow and pull more people in.
Lloydminster presented the right opportunity for Foremost to dive into agriculture, and this adapting is something the company sees others doing in the future.
I think everybody's trying to do it as much as they can, and these two opportunities for us were just perfect. They fit right into the facility that we've got in Lloydminster. We didn't have to buy extra property or anything like that. We were able to bring the production lines and just insert them right into what we were already doing. Lloydminster was the spot where we had the room, first of all, to do it. And it was the closest one to where we bought the production lines, so it was a little bit easier.
Foremost will continue to produce for the oil sector along with its new products. And that's this week's BioClean Business Bio.
Business Bio, brought to you by BioClean. Call the Bio Team, 1-833-246-8326. The Disaster Specialists.
And now here are your stock market prices for today.
First General Services. When you require prompt emergency service, the first F word that should come to your mind should be First General Services.
Welcome back. First found in canola near Edmonton in 2003, clubroot has continued to impact canola across the prairies for years now. And there are now steps being taken to reduce clubroot spread in canola. Here's Eric Bay with this week's agricultural report.
Growers are taking a more proactive approach to manage clubroot and hopefully reduce its spread across the prairies. It has had a big impact on canola, making it a priority for the Canola Council of Canada.
Really, it's a soil-borne disease that affects brassica crops. So canola is our biggest crop, but also some weeds like stinkweed and the mustards and shepherd's purse, and then a lot of vegetable crops are affected too. So yeah, it's marching its way across the prairies.
Staying ahead of clubroot, Co-op hosted farmers from around the region, hoping to educate local producers on ways to protect their crops.
We haven't seen any confirmed sightings as of this year yet. They're still doing research on the tests they've taken, but we do know it's in the area. It's going to be management on the side of the farmers. They need to be cleaning equipment, using clubroot tolerant hybrid canola seed.
While a heightened awareness hasn't stopped the spread of clubroot, it has reduced the amount of new soil affected since the early years of the breakout, a trend that should continue as more information is made available.
The spore loads got really, really high really fast from these susceptible varieties, but out here I think they're starting to adhere to the management practices a little better, so I do anticipate over the next few years that we see that, that kind of progression slow down. So about 30 kilometers a year it tends to seem to spread, and I would hope that with awareness that would be significantly less.
A 3-year crop rotation paired with a clubroot resistant variety of canola is recommended to keep clubroot from spreading. Eric Bay, Primetime Local News.
This Ag Report is brought to you by the Lloydminster Co-op Agro Centre. Depend on them for product, tools, and expert advice. Shop at your local Lloyd Co-op Agro Centre with branch locations in Lashburn and Neilburg.
Now here are your agriculture prices for today.
We're a part of less than 5% of Canadian auto body shops and Lloydminster's only locations with certified collision care recognition at City Centre Auto Body.
Now to send it over to the football world. Saturday morning could be the last kick at the can for a handful of high school football players. Each of the high schools will host their regional semifinal matchups this upcoming Saturday.
They know what's at stake, and every game now is the best of one. So you remind them, but you remind the other kids, the ones that can come back next year, of what they're really playing for.
And nobody wants it to be the last straw.
We're confident. We've kind of been through this road before, but I know we have a good team coming in here on Saturday, and we're going to have to play well to beat them.
Both the Barons and the Raiders are hosting their provincial matchups this Saturday. For the Barons, they'll be taking on the Paul Kane Blues out of St. Albert.
Yeah, obviously teams from the city play good competitive games each week, so we know that they're going to be a well-coached team and a well-prepared team, and they'll be ready to go on Saturday.
The only other time the Barons played an Edmonton Metro team this year was in the preseason when they played the Salisbury Sabres out of Sherwood Park.
It always comes down to penalties and turnovers, and if we can control our discipline and play without penalties and not turn the ball over, get them to turn the ball over a couple times, we'll be all right.
For the Raiders, they'll play host to the Sylvan Lake Lakers.
Yeah, they're a well-coached team. They always are, and they play a physical brand of football, and they've got some skilled receivers and a tough running back and a couple of good linemen, so, we're going to be in tough.
Both of the Lloyd teams are pushing their players to the limits for these do-or-die games. Kickoff will be at 3 p.m. at Armstrong Field and 5 p.m. at the Raider Bowl. recently announced by the WHL, another Border City boy will join Team WHL to defend their title against the incoming Russians. Already on the team and just named captain, defenseman Ty Smith will be joined by Saskatoon Blades captain Chase Waters. On the season, Waters has 10 goals and 17 points, on pace to smash his numbers from last season, 15 goals and 39 points. Last year, the WHL split the series with Team Russia and has an overall record of 21-8-3. Games will take place Wednesday, November 13th in Saskatoon and Thursday, November 14th in PA. And now to our Abby St. John, who has the weather.
Thanks, Evan. Well, taking a look at our satellite radar, there's a little bit more action than we saw yesterday, as there is snow movement and a mix of sleet and rain coming in through Vegreville and even the Marwayne area. But as you can see, a lot of the Marwayne, St. Walburg, Meadow Lake area, it's all coming down from the north, and it's a little bit cautious because we do have a high chance that it will snow tomorrow. So it is definitely going to make its way through our border city and even closer to Maidstone and North Battleford. Now taking a look at current temperatures, -6 here in Lloydminster as well as in Maidstone, -4 in Macklin, -7 in Isle of Cross, Green Lake and Meadow Lake, -8 in St. Walburg, -9 in North Battleford and -5 in Pearceland. And on the Alberta side, -4 in Provost, St. Paul, Cold Lake and Lac La Biche, -5 in Bonnyville, -3 in Vermilion and Wainwright, -2 in Vegreville, 1 out in Edmonton and -6 in Marwayne. Now tomorrow it should be 3 degrees here. That is a +3. Thank goodness that we are out of the minuses for at least one day. 6 degrees in Provost, 5 in Wainwright, Vegreville and Edmonton, 4 in Vermilion, 2 in St. Paul, 1 in Bonnyville and Cold Lake, and unfortunately Lac La Biche is still below 0 at -2. And on the Saskatchewan side, -3 in Isle of Cross, 3 degrees in Maidstone and North Battleford, 7 in Macklin, 1 in St. Walburg, 0 in Meadow Lake, 1 in Pearceland, and -1 in Green Lake. Overnight across the region, fairly cloudy skies. Pearceland, there is a chance that you could see some flurries just like here in Lloydminster and in Cold Lake. But for the most part, the rest of the region is clear from the snow for at least for tonight. Temperatures ranging between -8 and -4 degrees. Your school day forecast for tomorrow, -1 at 8 a.m. where there's a chance that we could see some snow early on. By the time recess rolls around, it should stop, but it may also continue sporadically throughout the day with 0 degrees. By the time lunch rolls around, it'll be +2, and then school's out, it will be +2 as well, and still that mostly cloudy skies. So we definitely won't see as much sun as we did see in the past couple of days. Now your 7-day forecast, -5 is the daytime low for tomorrow with that 56% chance of some snow. -7 and -8 are the highs and lows on Saturday. And then it gets a little bit cooler with -13 as the high on Sunday with -18 as the low. And then Monday, high of -9 and a low of -20. And then on Tuesday, a high of 1 and a low of -13. Wednesday and Thursday, both with a high of -4, and -11 is the low on Wednesday, and -10 is the low on Thursday. That wraps up your 7-day forecast. We'll have more news and the question of the day coming up.
Back here at the Lloyd X, and I'm joined now by Chef Rob Hofer. And now you've been doing this for all 10 years, but first off, can we talk a little bit about these recipes and where they do come from?
Well, they kind of originate from what I've been doing for years, and being in the business for 30, 40 years. When somebody says, you know, they're going to give me some pork or they're going to give me some buffalo and stuff like that, I kind of think, well, what can you do with it? What can you pair with it? And kind of goes like that, you know.
And now obviously all this stuff is from local or the area at least. So what's it like to be able to, I guess, create from some local food and a little bit fresher for the people here to try out?
Well, it's nice to try the local foods that people don't try every day, you know, like doing the pork pies. Not everybody eats those things all the time, and doing the turkey pies and doing the bison stroganoff and stuff like that, and then adding a few other dishes in there, like chicken dum gai is kind of bringing some of the ethnic part into it, and things like that.
And now obviously we've talked, you've been doing this for all 10 years. Can you just talk about what I guess it's been like to be able to take some of this stuff, this local stuff, and create stuff for everybody here in Lloydminster and area to enjoy?
It is a challenge, but I really enjoy it. But when we have our meetings and the girls say, well, we can get so many pounds of this and so many pounds of that, what are you going to do with it? So we look it over and we look up recipes and we just put it all together and away it goes.
And no, very good. And now obviously we've mentioned tons of time you've been taking this 10 years. So I guess how does this event kind of grow and how have you seen it expand over the years?
Well, people seem to like it. We're getting new faces every year. And I think people are happy with the product. And I have a passion for cooking the food, and that makes it all so much better because I love doing it.
All right, awesome. Thank you for this and enjoy tonight.
Thank you very much for having me.
We're going to have some more from back here again, but before that, we're going to go back into the studio.
Well, it's that time again for you guys to chime in on the question of the day. Of course, we asked this question. The Ontario School Board implemented a ban on cell phones in classes. Students must leave their phones in their backpacks or lockers. Do you believe that this is fair, was the question. So one person had said, if you could keep the phone for school use only, it would be good, but we all know that's not possible to see this is the next best thing. So I'd have to agree with her. I really think that it's a good idea that these kids are kind of staying away from there so that they can study and they can pay attention. But we got a lot more. Right?
Yeah, we have a couple. One person chimed in, I totally agree. Also, learning is what they are there to do. Another one chimed in, do you like whales? Totally banned from schools, including lunch breaks or outdoors on school property. Grades have improved and students are talking to everyone. Excellent idea. And if a parent needs to get a hold of you, then they can call the school like our parents did.
Wow.
Well, not my parents, but for a long time.
Yeah.
I think because kids are getting younger and younger getting phones, it's becoming more of an issue.
Of course.
And of course, everyone has the school's numbers, so a parent can easily call in and say, hey, I need to talk to my child or something has happened.
Exactly, and that's an important thing because for us too, like we have dinner and we don't want our nieces and kids and all of them sitting there and doing the same thing all the time.
It's just going to cause and create an antisocial generation.
I agree.
Which has already started, but it needs to eradicate because it's a problem for everyone.
Of course, and now from kids to pets, of course, we've got Pet of the Day, and if your pets get shown on here with their names on it, you get an automatic into the gift certificate package. No, it's not a package, but it's a gift certificate from the Pet Pad. Check out some of the cute ones we got.
We want to see your pets. Send photos of your pet and their name to our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram to have them featured on Pet of the Day. Your name will be entered into a weekly draw for a gift certificate from the Pet Pad.
Joining me in studio today is two girls from the Lloyd Comp High School varsity girls volleyball team. We've got Venna Anderson and Haley Blaine. Guys, how's it going today?
Pretty good.
So are you guys are hosting the regional volleyball qualifiers for provincials this upcoming weekend, and being first time hosting this, how are you guys feeling heading into this?
I'm really excited, to be honest. Like, it's super cool being able to be at home with all of our fans and everything to help cheer us on and have that support.
Yeah, I'm super excited, and especially after last weekend when we came in second at the tournament, I'm really excited. I hope we make it to provincials this year.
And at that tournament, there's some teams that you guys are going to be playing here at the regionals. How do you think that prepped you guys, and as well other tournaments throughout the season, prepping you guys for this moment?
I think it's given us lots of confidence, to be honest, to be able to say that we've beat this team already, we have the ability, we just need to put our heads in it, try our best. And I think that that's really important when you go into something that you need to finish at least second to go to provincials. So
yeah, and I think that it really helped us realize that we're actually a really good team and we can compete up at the level with these teams. And like Venna said, it gives us the confidence to actually compete and play hard. So.
Now, you guys are both grade 12s on this team, a little bit of leaders on a team that's got some younger pieces, a couple older pieces. How do you think you guys all blend, and how is your guys' leadership really going to have to push you guys over the top?
I think that we have a really good base for leadership, and I think a lot of the girls really respect that. And I think that that's a big part of a team is respecting just everybody, not just your people that are older than you, just in general. And I think that we've had a really good atmosphere so far. So I don't see it being an issue at all. So I think we'll do really well, and we've clicked as a team pretty good.
And we have a lot of rookies this year, lots of grade 10s, and throughout the season I've seen them all get leadership roles as well. So I feel like it's not only us that are leaders, but they also help us when we're in bad situations. So
Now, you guys were the only 2 grade 10s on this senior team, and also playing last season. You guys just barely missed that cusp last season. Is there that extra chip on your shoulder? You guys really want to come back strong this year?
Yeah. I really want to make it to provincials this year because we're in SAS now, so we actually have a chance to play if we get to provincials, so that's exciting.
And we're both kind of competitive, so it definitely there. Definitely want to be the top. Definitely want to get there. We've kind of set that goal this whole season. We've kind of really worked towards that with everything. We've been, every time we get into the gym for practice and stuff, we've just really been trying our best to improve the little things and make sure that we're mentally tough and ready for regionals.
So with you guys being, you say a little bit competitive, then, how do you guys feel? You're ranked 4th going into this regional tournament. How does that feel for you guys? You've played these teams before and, possibly beaten some of these teams. Do you think it's an understatement saying you guys are 4th?
Honestly, ranking doesn't bother me at all. I think that it really just depends on the tournament that we're going into. Where you placed before has nothing to do with where you can place in the end. So being ranked 4th, I don't know, maybe we'll just be, other teams won't see it coming, who knows? So that's not an issue. I think that we definitely have a really good shot in making provincials this year. So.
And I feel like being ranked 4th is almost a good thing because we're so we're the underdogs, so we have nothing to lose. Just leave it all out on the court. So we have nothing to prove.
And then finally, how special would it be for you guys, last season with this high school club? How special would it be to end it off, either making provincials, having the chance to win provincials, whatever may come forward out of this tournament?
I think it'd be great, honestly.
Yeah, it'd be a great ending to my high school volleyball career.
Yeah, because it would just be amazing. Just to be able to, it's just kind of, you feel accomplished, right? Throughout the years you've been working up to this moment, and
all the hard work was finally worth it, finally paid off.
Yeah.
And then finally, one key for each of you guys personally in finding success this weekend.
I think that honestly, as long as the team plays their best and we give it all, I would obviously want to come up on top and I'd want to go to provincials. But if I have no regrets by the end of the weekend, that's a win for me.
Yeah, I would say just giving 100%, not only for myself, but for the team, because I feel like we deserve to give each other 100%. So.
Well, thanks, Bennett, and thanks, Haley, for coming out, and best of luck in the regional qualifiers this weekend.
Thank you.
If you love sports, you're going to love the great night out they've got planned for you in Paradise Hill next Saturday night. The Paradise Hill Community Center is hosting a celebrity sports dinner. World curling champion Rachel Holman is going to be there. They've also got NHL player and coach Brian Sutter, who's going to be on hand, and a couple of great chuck wagon drivers, Buddy Bensmiller and Jamie Lavacane. Plus, the former voice of the Riders, Rod Peterson, will be a part of this great event. And for supper, steak and shrimp. Get your tickets now at Paradise Hill Ranch in Western Ware and have a fun night out next Saturday night. Next Thursday night is going to be a really neat night out in Kitscoty. The County of Vermilion River is very pleased to be hosting Reap the Rewards, supporting our rural wellness. And it's going to be an evening of socializing. There's also going to be some guest speakers, a chance for you to win some cool prizes as well. And if you pre-register by Monday, they're going to give you extra chances to win some door prizes. It's coming up next Thursday night out in Kitscoty. If you'd like to get more details, you can always get in touch with the folks at the County of Vermilion River. Coming up tomorrow is Red Friday, and in Wainwright at the Elks Hall, they're hosting a pancake breakfast to support the troops. Monday is Remembrance Day, where we remember and honor the veterans who fought for our freedom. The ceremony here in Lloydminster will be taking place at Lloyd Comp High School. They ask that you be in your seat by 10:30 a.m. Well, whatever you choose to do this weekend, I hope you have a great one. I'm Heather Klegus, and that's what's happening.
We are here talking to Tony Sohn, who's written a song in collaboration with businesses to fundraise for the Alberta veterans and, of course, the first responders. Tony, great to have you with us.
Hi, thanks a lot. I appreciate you having me.
Obviously a great song. Everybody's talking about it. Can you tell us a little bit about what it's called and what it's all about?
Valor and Pride. The name represents a couple of different things. Valor of our veterans, and then the pride that we have as Canadians for them. So this song is essentially a World War II song that will benefit hopefully veterans and first responders going forward. It's available anywhere. You buy music digitally, and of course it's on all the streaming services as well.
Okay. And what's interesting with this is, I mean, you've written this 5 years ago. Tell us a little bit about that. You had an emotional impact in terms of certain things that were going on that day. Tell us why you wrote that and how that impacted you that day.
I came home from our Remembrance Day ceremonies here in Red Deer, and one of the things that I was really struck by was just how old our veterans are and how we're losing them going forward. So I wanted to pay them respect in a way that was really special, and music comes naturally for me. So I just grabbed a guitar and sat down and wrote a song, and it just kind of flowed out, and away we went from there. Yeah. It was an old song that we'd taken forward with some new players and some really smart musical brains here within the city to create what we have now called Valor and Pride.
And of course it benefits CanPraxis is the organization, the Canadian organization that you deal with. Tell us a little bit about them and how you guys collaborated in that.
Well, CanPraxis is an incredible organization that's located in Alberta, and what they do is they use horses to heal veterans from mental wounds. They don't necessarily call it PTSD because they don't want to give it a blanket term. Mental wounds come in a lot of different ways. So they use horses in order to teach them communication skills, but not just with either the veteran or first responder, but also with their next closest support pillar, which is usually their spouse. And they keep them right there on the ranch. They utilize the horses throughout the program. And when they leave, hopefully they have the tools in order for them to progress themselves to a healthy life and the next stage in, well, basically communicating with their partner and having a great rapport with them going forward.
Yeah, what a great thing you're doing, and of course a great organization, and they've fought for us and they've done so much for us and continue to do so. So this song obviously is making a huge impact, and there's a fundraiser and that you're working on right now. How have you involved the businesses? I know that they had a lot in Red Deer. There's a lot of businesses involved as well too with you.
Well, not only did it take a collaborative effort with the musicians and studios themselves, but all of that costs money going forward too. So Southside Dodge here within the city they're just a great business that I've known for some time that have reached out to help folks that couldn't help themselves. And this is one of the things that I needed some help with, or else it just couldn't get done. And they stepped up without question. They paid for all of our production fees, for all of our studio fees, and they made sure that we could just concentrate on what we're good at, which is the musical side of things. And we really appreciate their support. The song wouldn't have been done without them.
Wow. Obviously, such an amazing thing you're doing, obviously, but it took you 5 years. Now that, it must have been a long process. What was that like for you?
Well, it was one of those things where I had sat on it for a long time and reworked it a couple of times. But thankfully, here within the city, we have a wealth of musicians. So I reached out to some amazing folks. Denver, who is with his own band, the Frank here in the city, did a great job vocally. Dylan Robinson from Red Sun Phenomenon, he also did some great vocal work. But really, Donnie Smith Productions was an incredible brain where he took what I had, which was a raw song that I'd worked over a couple of times, and he made it something really special. It's got an East Coast theme to it. It's something that's palatable regardless of what your musical preferences usually might be. And I usually try to compare it to something that the Trews did, as we all know, Highway of Heroes. So it's got sort of that vibe in mind, but it is definitely our own take and our own rendition. And it wouldn't have been done without all of these people in a collaborative effort.
Of course, and you must be really proud of it.
I am, thank you. Yeah, you know, and it's starting to pick up some steam. Some folks are playing it here within the city. Locally, they've been using it during Remembrance Day ceremonies at middle schools and elementary schools and stuff like that. And we're hoping to spread it as far as we can all across the country. Every time you purchase this song, it's going to raise money for Can Praxis, of course. But not only that, but it's going to keep the day of Remembrance Day reverent for all of us and ensure that we all take a moment to think about those that sacrifice so much for what we have right now.
Awesome. We're running out of time, obviously, but where can people find the song? How can they download it?
Well, the easiest thing you can do is go to your normal digital purchasing app, which might be Google Play, it might be Amazon Music, it might be Apple Music. You can get them there, and of course a lot of others. But you can also just stream it on Spotify, and there is a video available. It's floating around on Facebook right now, and it's also on YouTube. If you search Valor and Pride, you should be able to narrow it down on any of those different mediums.
Okay, well, thank you, Tony. Obviously, Remembrance Day on the 11th. This is a great thing to do, and hopefully everybody downloads that for you, and great to have you. Thank you so much for joining us and talking about that.
Thank you for having me.